The Denver Nuggets, they lose to the Detroit Pistons in another game where there was no defense. Is the D silent in Denver? There was not a lot of effort in the first three quarters. Julian Strawther and Peyton Watson tried to get them out of the hole. Jamal Murray turned around a porous first half with an excellent second half. And Nikola Jokic, very spotty game. This reminds me of early season Jokic when it was like, where is Jokic? And then all of a sudden he got his wins back underneath his sails, and he took off to the best player in the world status. The back-to-back games, not loving it. But the Denver Nuggets, man, at some point, they're going to have to decide to play harder, play with more defense, play with more effort, or they're going to keep running down these losses because they got the New York Knicks tomorrow on the second night of a back-to-back. Who's going to show up? It's Ryan. This is Swiper. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Locked On Nuggets. This is your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Shout out to you all. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. This is going to be a great episode talking about your Denver Nuggets versus the Detroit Pistons. I'm here with my friend and co-host Ryan Blackburn, the man, the myth, the legend himself, y'all. This is going to be quite an interesting one. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. So make sure you continue tapping with FanDuel. It is the last call for football on FanDuel. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Ladies, gents, they, them, however you might identify. I know that the Nuggets didn't identify with D tonight. I can tell you that much. They did not want to do the small things. They didn't show up. They weren't rim protecting. They weren't running back in transition. And then they tried in the fourth quarter to get their sea legs back settled and say, you know what? We should probably guard the pick and roll, which they did. We should probably defend Cade Cunningham, which they did. We should probably defend Tobias Harris, which they did. We should probably stop letting them eat us on the board, which they did. The problem is, Ryan, is that if you get down 69-50 in the first half to a Detroit Pistons team that's not a great scoring unit, then you're probably going to end up losing a game. And then on top of that, they're down 69-50 because they simply didn't want to do the small thing, didn't want to do the little thing. They put Isaiah Stewart, Zeke Naji, on the free throw line at the end of the second quarter, and they go back down in the half, and it's like, hey, you know what? We should probably come out and try. Jokic, you were minus 22 in the first half. He was a plus 13 in the second half. What happened? I don't know. You tell me. Jonas Valanciunas, I didn't think he had a great game, but he played a little bit of rim protection. Jokic didn't do that in the first half. He came out with better energy in the second half. I'm going up and down the list. I'm watching the corner close out on three-pointers. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. I'm watching you not stay in front of people on the perimeter. Nothing to see here. So I'm saying, like, there are multiple levels here where it's like there are little basic things. Now, Ryan, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to be clear. I realize that Jokic is just coming back from injury. You know, shout out to Grace. She said that she looks a little bit slower on the timeline. Hey, sure, no problem. It is what it is. But I think there are certain things that need to be adjusted, not just with them players, but with David Adelman as well. I think there are some adjustments that need to be made from a mentality standpoint over the last two games that have really shown their face.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of directions that I think we can go with this one tonight, but the one that bothers me, I think the most, is that Spencer Jones was inactive. I know how, like, it's such a minor thing because, like, he wasn't out. Like, it could have just as easily been an ankle injury. It could have just been anything. But, like, on a game where Christian Brown comes back, and I thought he looked good defensively, bad offensively. I thought that Peyton Watson looked shaky in the first half and did a really good job in the second half, especially the fourth quarter. I thought that Denver was procrastinating and looked overwhelmed tonight in the first half, and then spent the entire second half trying to dig themselves out of a hole that they did create for themselves. There's no doubt about it. They got a lot of help, got 43 free throws. Some of them were definitely fouls. Some of them were, I think, like, Detroit was probably rightfully upset with some of the calls. But I do think that, like, look, anytime you get a free throw discretion like the one that you have tonight, you obviously have to ask some questions, but Detroit was very physical. And so they allowed Denver to get back into this game in part at the free throw line. And then Jokic hit some shots, Murray hit some shots, and Peyton Watson stepped up pretty well. But it would have been nice to have an energy setter at the beginning of the game, Swipa. Would have been really nice to have a guy that you could put on either Isaiah Stewart when he came in the first quarter, or Cade Cunningham on these switches, or somebody that could just do the hustle things that you need at the beginning rather than relying on smaller guys. They do it every time. And David Adelman has had to go to a lot of small lineups, in part due to injuries. Some of it's his own volition, but in part, like, they just looked overwhelmed physically in the first half, and they could never fully recover.
They shot 57% in the second half. They shot 30% or 32%, I think, in the first. They held Detroit to 32, 33% shooting inside that second half. So all of a sudden, again, they started playing defense. They started doing all the things they needed to do. Yeah, I mean, Jokic, I think, should have got to the free throw line a lot more today. Again, I counted on the timeline. There were at least 4 or 5 times there were clearly contact that he didn't end up getting any contact, and that obviously made his his shooting numbers look the way they did, 9 of 19 tonight. But he was really good from a jump shooting standpoint, made that little midi to start the half like he normally, or to start the quarter like he normally does. Ryan, there is a thing, man. I know him. It feels like, I don't know how many other people feel Jokic like in his play to this level. Ryan, I knew I should have called FanDuel and bet a house on it. When they came out in the second half, Jokic was taking that three. They were going to run the pin down, and Jokic is getting a three, and he did. And he made it. And so it just, they tried to get the energy and stuff going back. But I think my thing is, Ryan, I'm just watching these last 2 games, and I want to give them credit. They have been playing extremely hard. They're missing all their big wings, Cam, and then just didn't have Spencer Jones, didn't have Aaron Gordon. That obviously mattered in this game in particular.
Sure.
But you have to play with a little bit more physicality than that, because what was happening in the first half, they were just allowing for Detroit to just live very comfortably. And Jonas came in the game, and he was the energy guy because he had that little mix up with Isaiah Stewart where he had Isaiah Stewart headlocked, but I think he felt like Isaiah was pushing him or whatever, and so he didn't let go, and then they got in a little scuffle, and Jonas ended up getting a flagrant foul that ended up costing them in the end. But it's just whatever at the time. And so maybe that was the energy play, but they just weren't making good decisions with the basketball. They weren't playing well with the basketball. They weren't doing the things they needed to do. They weren't playing consistently. They weren't buying into the process. They weren't doing a lot of different things. I don't know, man. I'm finding it interesting. I realize that Deron Holmes isn't your cup of tea, and I realize that Deron Holmes is young. But Adam, your whole point is you're missing size and you're missing spacing.
Yeah, the rotation was straight up bad tonight. It just was. I don't understand why they started Christian, if I'm being honest. I thought that they should have brought Christian off the bench. Now, if they're looking to immediately ramp him back up and they feel like he's ready to go and that he's going to be the starter for the rest of the season, then I guess you might as well just rip off the Band-Aid. That's fine. I don't necessarily feel that way, but I'm not controlling the rotation. But between Zeke played 1 minute tonight, less than 1 minute, and was a -4, committed a foul on a loose ball. It was a pretty bad call, but the fact that they couldn't even get him on the floor. No desire to put him on the floor in a game where Denver was clearly overwhelmed physically. No need for Deron Holmes. No need for Zeke Naji. Nothing like that when you're missing Spencer Jones and you're going small. And Denver gave up some offensive rebounds. And I do agree that they fought. They did a pretty good job fighting and just making up for the difference. But this Pistons team, they probably shot over their head just a little bit. Duncan Robinson just demolished them from 3 in this game, and that was a big swing factor here. But the bigger factors is that Denver just couldn't stop them from getting into the paint, couldn't stop them from getting to where they wanted to go. And it always just felt like, give up 58 points in the paint and 12 of 29 from 3 and 26 of 30 from the free throw line, which doesn't get counted in those paint points. It was one of those games where Denver was physically overwhelmed. They didn't have the response for it. I think that Jokic coming off of the injury that he needs to establish a better level of physicality overall, like on the defensive end specifically, not on the offensive end. I don't care as much about that. He'll figure it out. But like nobody else is going to do it. You're the center. You are the anchor of the team, especially if they're going to go small. If Peyton Watson's going to play the 4, you have to be big at the 5. And to be fair, he grabbed a whole bunch of rebounds tonight. He did grab 15 rebounds. So Murray grabbed 1.
11, I believe.
Yeah, Murray grabbed 1 in 37 minutes. Jalen Pickett didn't do anything today. Christian Brown grabbed 0 in 26 minutes. Peyton Watson grabbed 3 in 38 minutes and missed on a pretty important offensive rebound down the stretch after collecting a very impressive block. But like Denver's got to be tougher. They just have to. This was a thought in the OKC game, and then they faced a really tough team tonight. Also got out-toughed.
We'll talk about more on the other side. I have some more interesting thoughts about this here at Lockdown Nuggets. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to get on the action for the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. This is where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. We're back here with segment 2 of Locked on Nuggets. Shout out to you all. Thank you all so much for joining us for yet another episode here at Locked on Nuggets, here with Ryan Blackburn, my friend.
Did you want me to push that button?
No, it was the transition with my. This has been not so great the last few days. It's the battery. It's not the battery. It's the battery's working fine. Like I'm literally, my mouse just won't move, and it's just like won't let me do what I need to do, and so I'm just sitting here staring at you like.
I was like, oh crap, did I do something wrong?
No, you didn't know. Nobody did anything. It's just blame technology for the instances today. By the way, y'all, the NBA trade deadline is basically here, and we want to give you a free month of our new Everyday Era Club to help you get ready. If you need a group chat to keep up with the chaos, join ours. The Everyday Era Club gets you access to a group chat on Discord just for Nuggets fans, plus national chats where you can come hang out with fans from across the league. And also, I do Locked on NBA, so maybe you'll find me on there. So you also get ad-free versions of this show, and if you sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th, which is 2 days away, you got one more day, you can use code deadline and get your first month free. Tap the
I'm
link
not kidding. There are probably about
500
messages in the Nuggets chat tonight. Like from the start of the game to now, there were it was going off. And sometimes, like Swiper knows this, like it's hard for me to keep up in our Locked On chat when there are 2 other people. So when there's 500 messages to have to get through, it's tough for me to keep up. But you guys have been killing it. So thank you for hopping in. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, shout out to you all. And for those of you that aren't subscribed, you're not killing it right now. So all the people that are listening to this right now, hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Make sure we get up to 12,000 subscribers. We really should be here by now. I don't know what's going on. You're getting 3 people making great content, talking to you every day, letting you know about your favorite team. We're in the motion with you. When they win, we're with you. When they lose, we're with you. When the team gets to this place, what's going on? So shout out to
a hypothetical trade, by the way, between Darius Garland and James Harden, and that happened. So you guys are missing out on the content. If and the trade,
you did a hypothetical trade on that?
Yeah, it was a 4-team trade where Denver got involved, and they sent Zeke Naji to Cleveland and allowed for Lonzo Ball to go to Charlotte to join LaMelo. I thought it was a good concept. Didn't happen. Cavs just basically simplified things.
Yeah, man. So, look, I just think that we're in a situation now where I think they're trying to get to the All-Star break. I'm good. I hear you. Like I'm understanding everybody's like kind of exhausted and tired. But it's like, look, man, you're in a tough part of the schedule. You're playing OKC, Detroit, and the Knicks in back-to-back games. Like that's obviously a lot. But it's just little stuff, man. Like the Case and Wallace stuff. the further I got away from it, I was just so irritated. The way they were playing defense in that game. And they let SGA have maybe his best offensive game of the year. And then he played tonight versus the Magic and was not great. But the same thing with Cade Cunningham today. Cade Cunningham had 29 points and 10 assists in this game. They usually guard Cade pretty well, but it's just basic effort stuff. It's just physicality stuff. It's setting the point of contact.
Like, is this a Peyton thing? Because he's the main on-ball guy in these situations. Or is it the player that he's bringing into the mix that they are not doing a good enough job with, whether it's the big down the floor? Like, are we going to blame the big down the floor, whether it's Jokic or Valanciunas in this situation, or is it Peyton? Christian Brown tonight, I thought, did a pretty decent job on Cade, but like somebody's guarding him.
Well, but I think Peyton did a good job down the stretch. He had multiple blocks down the stretch of this game. Yeah. I just think that first half, it just felt like Cade had them off balance. And again, man, like, the Nuggets are built to defend people like Cade because of how big they are on the wings. But to your point, no Cam, no Aaron, no Jones. That probably changed a lot of that dynamic. Because, Peyton, the biggest fault about Peyton physically that he can't necessarily control is he's just not super yoked out yet. You know what I mean? Like, even remember Aaron Gordon, when he first started his career off, he was like strong, but he wasn't AG, like, built like a tight end. So I think some of this is as simple as like, Cam Johnson's 30. He got grown man strength. Peyton Watson is 23 years old. Yeah. And, he's getting moved around a little bit. But I think he's working with effort. And, again, Julian Strawther, we haven't talked about him yet. He had, I think, his best game of the year run. He had 15 points and 8 rebounds off the bench. 8 of them.
I mean, it's been a great night. It was a great night for Julian. He missed a late 3 that would have really made the game interesting, but he had done such great work up until that point to deserve to stay on the floor. He is way better than Tim Hardaway tonight. He was way better than Bruce Brown tonight, and ultimately did deserve to be out there in those closing minutes. And just a nice stretch from him. And I don't know if people were expecting it. I certainly wasn't at this stage with where he was at in the pecking order, but over the course of the last month or so, he's played a little bit more. And now, like, it feels like he's getting into a rhythm, whereas before, like, I mean, the floaters tonight were not touching the rim. They were straight through the net. It was actually very impressive. And I don't find, like, he makes mistakes defensively, but I do not find them to be as backbreaking as they were last year in situations where, like, he might do something that Tim Hardaway just did, or do something that Bruce Brown just did. I thought that Bruce was way worse defensively tonight. So it's interesting, like, being 6'7" and just knowing how, like, where you're supposed to be is a really big deal on the wing.
And, the Spencer Jones thing, the computer part of this is probably, hey, let's play him tomorrow, get his 50th game in versus the Knicks, but then we have a day off, and that day off is the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do some rummaging in the cupboard here. And what's going to happen is Hunter Tyson, Zeke Naji, Julian Strawther, the Bubble Boys, maybe Jalen Pickett too, the Bubble Boys. 2 of y'all, as Magic said, ain't going to be here. And Spencer Jones will be added to the roster, I think, on a full-time, probably a multi-year extension. After that point, maybe a little bit of an elevator contract, maybe similar to A.J. Mitchell, which is $3 million a year, somewhere around there. And he'll be added to the roster. I think this is a good opportunity. If you were going to have a run, I think Julian Strawther has given himself a nice little run where, hey, if you're a team and you're looking for a shooter and a cost-controlled shooter who's 6'7", who can ball handle, that might be a good little option to have and add to your roster. So I do think there's a world where we're looking 2 days from now, Julian Strawther's on another team, but it's not because he's not, like, a good player. It's just to make sense of the roster, we got to get rid of at least one of Zeke. I think the biggest negatives on the roster are probably Hunter Tyson and Zeke Naji. And the best way to get rid of them is just attaching a player like Julian, who has a lot of upside and still has a year and a half left on his rookie deal.
Yeah, and so we'll see what they can come up with. One of the ideas that I had been floating out there on the Everydayer Club was taking a look at Utah, taking a look at Brooklyn. Well, Utah just made a pretty big deal today, and they vaporized their cap space. So they are not a team that you can now look to do that with. So you're probably going back to the Brooklyn well and seeing, okay, hey guys, can get a little bit of that cap space? That'll be great. That would be great. And so it's going to cost a pretty penny, but yeah, Denver's going to have to look at some things. Seeing the name Mike Conley in the comments as well for a buyout contract, that I think has some legs. I think that's something that they might consider, but only if they can stay under the tax, which is probably not something Nuggets fans want to hear.
I have an interesting one for you. I'm going to float it out here in a second. I'll be curious to hear what you got to say. On the other side, y'all, I'm going to throw something out there for Ryan. See if you can do something with it. Talk to y'all in a minute. Here at Locked On Nuggets. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look at the messier part of how we run our businesses and think there has to be a better way. And there is. Streamlining your communication is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with customers. Now, I love how simple Quo makes everything. Your whole team can call and text from one shared business number so nothing gets missed. It's no surprise that Quo is the #1 business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. There is nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that's the part that hasn't always been so simple. That's why Gametime has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with the fans. Pull up the Gametime app. I picked an upcoming NBA game, and I had tickets locked within minutes. And one of the things I love most about Gametime, I love seeing all the price up front. There's no surprise fees at checkout at all. And I can view the actual seat from the app, and I can see exactly what I'm going to be looking at for the price I'm going to be paying, and literally that makes it the best part of Gametime. That's why I love it. They have great last-minute options too, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today, and remember, it's gametime.com, not .co. See y'all here at Locked On Nuggets. We are back here for the final segment here at Locked On Nuggets. Shout out to you all. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Ryan is getting a call from, what's her name? Sheila, Sharon. I forgot her name.
That's Shams.
Shams. Would you have the same reaction to the Giannis trade to Minnesota right now as you did to the Luka trade?
Yeah, I think I would. Well, actually, no, because we've been prepared for the Giannis trade. We've been conditioned for the Giannis trade over the course of these last few weeks, few months. With the Luka one, it came out of nowhere. And you look down and you think, okay, because like it really was almost exactly a year ago. And I'm not going to lie, man, looking at our analytics for Locked On is always very funny, because you see the comments and you see the views still piling up for that video and still piling up for that reaction. It may have been like the greatest video I've ever been a part of.
100,000 plus views at this point, isn't it?
It's over 100K. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. So I have a question for you, brother.
Sure.
So there's a certain player in Utah. You know, Utah loves, draft accumulation.
Yeah.
If I told you, hey, Utah, we'll give you Zeke Naji, we'll give you Julian Strawther, and we'll give you maybe a pick swap. All we want back is Bryce Sensabaugh. And Bryce Sensabaugh currently, so he got drafted in 2023 the number 28 overall pick. He's currently in the third year of his contract, averaging 12 points. He's shooting 33% from three. So, you can sell that. Like, not great.
Yeah. Hey, he's not shooting that well for you guys.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, come on. He's supposed to be a shooter.
Capitalize on the value while he has it.
Right. Let's give you a pick swap here, and let's go ahead and see what you can work with. And we'll give you Julian Strauss. We'll give you a shooter in replacement. So take this money from us, and give us Bryce Sensabaugh back for a 2-for-1.
I'd be first and foremost, like, the money doesn't work. The money is not like no longer can you put Zeke Naji into that deal, because Bryce Sensabaugh, what does he make? Like $2 million, $3 million, somewhere around there. It's pretty low.
They have cap space in Utah, don't they?
No, they don't. Like we just talked about, they
don't have any more at all.
They vaporized that. It's gone. It's gone. You should go look at the spot track. It's I mean, because the max deal that they sent out, and that was like, it was like Kyle Anderson and then his $9 million deal. Like, that would have been the matching salary. So no, it's bad. Now, if you want to try to go get a Memphis guy, you want to try to go get somebody there, they've got the cap space and they've got the flexibility now. But I like where your head's at. Obviously, you want to try to turn a couple of guys that aren't going to be playoff factors into a guy who could be. But like, yeah, Sensabaugh's too good. Like, Utah would have said no to that even if they did have the cap space.
Nah, Sensabaugh, he's something a little bit. So who has cap space currently in the league right now? I'm trying to look at it.
There is one team. There is one team
Brooklyn
who has
Nets.
cap space. That is the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
There are a couple of teams that I think will be able to talk themselves into trying to take on some of these deals. Like, but it's not a Zeke Naji contract that they're taking off. It's like Hunter Tyson's $2 million or Julian Strouder's $2.6 million. It's not a lot. And so does Denver want to attach a second round pick in that situation? Do they want to send out a couple $1 million in cash considerations? I don't know. It's not.
What would you do at this point? What do you feel like because this Spencer Jones thing is going to happen. So it's really just a matter of what?
I don't know if it's going to happen certainly at the outset. Like, I think that Denver, they kind of need him. Like, there's no doubt about that they need him. And especially with Aaron Gordon's injury and the consistent injuries that he's had, like, you need to have another big defensive guy that you could just throw out there in these situations. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what team is going to be available. They seem to think that they can do it. They seem to think that they can do something, but one of the teams that they would have been able to create space with is gone. And there's only a couple more. Like, maybe another team is able to create more cap space, but Brooklyn is kind of the one team that they can deal with here. So I think other teams are looking at that situation, and they're looking at Brooklyn and other potential cap space teams, and they want to use that to their advantage. So Denver doesn't have the assets to attach the bad salary anymore. They've exhausted all of their assets. So I don't know if this is going to happen. Like, it might, but it also might not.
I want to read something to you. NBA Central, per the Stein line, apparently, this is reportedly. So, Mark Stein, if you hear this, and I didn't quote that. Well, this is what they're quoting you as. Says league sources say that the Bucks, who deep down still prefer not to trade the face of the franchise, believe that a bolt in lottery luck could maybe keep Milwaukee's dream and convincing Antetokounmpo to extend the relationship one more time. And then Sam Quinn, CBS, said this is as close to having a baby to save a failing marriage as an NBA team is capable of getting.
Shout out to Sam. He's funny, and he also knows what he's talking about when it comes to trades. That ain't happening.
That ain't happening, and it ain't saving nobody. That needs to be done. I'm tired of hearing about that story.
That Milwaukee team sucks. Like, there is
terrible.
No way you're saving that. Like hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby kind of.
How would you, if Giannis goes to the Wolves, there's no way they're able to keep J-Mac in that deal. I mean, no way. Unless, because they're saying now, well, at that point, they're saying Randall and
Nas.
They have to
I mean, you could technically do it.
Where are they getting their picks from?
You're attaching Rob Dillingham, who has good value, right?
8th overall pick in the draft. You're correct.
No, what they're actually doing is they're trying to loop in a third and fourth team to try to accumulate assets for the Bucks, which what that says to me is they don't have enough. They will not have enough.
4-team trade: Bucks, Minnesota, Chicago, Denver.
Oh, if you say the words Ayodosumu to the Nuggets, I will slam you. It is
Wait, whoa,
not
whoa,
happening.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Not
whoa,
happening.
whoa, 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 sir, whoa, sir. First off, sir, you and your cultural insensitivity. His name is Kwamdim Ayopo Ayodonsunmu. He's Nigerian. That is his whole name. So you make sure you say it correctly.
My bad. I'm just so culturally insensitive.
I would love for Kwamdim Ayopo Dosonmu to end up where he belongs with the Denver Nuggets. That's where he needs to be. I'm sick of this. I'm sorry. You're not going to shame
You better call Zeke by his full name then. Like
I will. Actually, I don't remember Zeke's full name, but I remember I have said it on air
but you
before.
remember Ayo's. Zeke's only been on your
gracious.
team for 6 years.
Like, I don't understand how you keep downplaying this. It's the Chicago Bulls.
Because every other team also likes Ayodosumu.
He's playing small forward for the Bulls, brother.
I know, and it's because the Bulls are just trying to get the 9 seed. They are not trying to be better, but they are not trying to be worse. And trading Ayo for Zeke and Julian and a second-round pick is not going to get it done.
By the way, Zeke Naji's full name, if you all didn't know, it is actually an excellent name. I don't know if he's come from a Nigerian background. I can't remember.
Yes.
But it's Ezekiel Tobechukwu Naji is how you say it. So shout out to Zeke. Shout out to Ayo, man. I think the Nuggets, you have to get rid of 2 of these players over the next couple of days, it sounds like, or at least one.
Yeah.
You don't think do you not think Spencer Jones is about to be signed to the team?
I think the question is whether he's actually. Here's the thing: they don't have to duck the tax. That's the thing. They could just convert the dude. They have the biannual exception. I'm pretty sure they could just use that. Like, I could be wrong about that, but I think that they can go over. I might be. No, I'm not wrong about that. I don't think. I think that they have the flexibility to. Either way, they could convert him to a full-time contract for the rest of the year and then give him a player option and then have him get onto free agency. They don't necessarily have to, he will probably be converted, but they don't have to get out of the tax in order to do this. That's the thing that kind of bothers me about this is it's not a requirement for them. They're just trying to save. I understand why they're doing it. I've laid out the case for why they should do it. But if it's not available to them, they got to convert Spencer Jones anyway.
Okay, let me ask you this crazy question because apparently you're on the Peyton Watson fan club out of nowhere, even though you're a Christian Brown guy. Is there any trade that you could find that you've theorized where you would do a Peyton Watson and Zeke trade?
Oh, I could theorize it. Absolutely. I haven't
a good trade, not a dump, but a good trade. Have you thought about those?
No. The short answer is no.
Okay, don't worry about it then. Yeah.
Okay. I think that if Denver was looking to try to get they need to keep that athleticism. They need to keep that versatility on the wing. If they were going to send out Peyton, then they would need to either get an actual backup forward that can shoot and defend.
If they gave up Peyton at this point, I think that would be for an actual
right. But
you're getting a guy.
I think that they plan on starting Murray, Christian, Cam Johnson, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, there's no spot for another guy to come in. I don't think that they would be able to get a starting caliber player if they're attaching Zeke Naji's contract to it.
We'll have to flesh that one out. There are better thoughts ahead. But shout out, that's Ryan. I'm swiping, man. The Nuggets lost this game. They won the second half by a lot, but what's what happens when you just don't show up for a whole first half and then you're like, okay, well, we can do this. Yeah. And you almost did it.
Do they come back and they win tomorrow?
They have to. There's no way you can lose 3 in a row playing.
Do they play Jokic?
Yeah, Jokic is playing tomorrow. He's not missing any more games, brother. I can Jokic well enough. He's not missing any more games if he has a chance to.
He ain't getting the MVP. I'll say that. That ain't happening.
What's this got to do with MVP? Brian is on Twitter far too much. This is about Jokic wanting to play basketball. Ryan is bringing up MVP stuff. Get off of Twitter. Close the app for the rest of the night.
I think they need to protect him from himself. Any back-to-back that exists, he should say die. There's just no
sick,
back.
Ryan. He doesn't have hepatitis. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. This is Locked On Nuggets. That's Ryan. I'm Swiper. We'll be back here literally tomorrow night. So we will see you soon. I'll be here. Ryan will be off working somewhere else, doing some other things. But y'all know what time it is. This is Locked On Nuggets. Another loss. Down they go.